Because, I have to say this, me being a native son of the city, here we are in beautiful downtown Atlanta. My name is Brian Green. I am just for nerding out sake, I'm going to put this is my lucky Nintendo controller band to go along with the old school shirt. You should check me out at fanboystv.com for all of that other stuff like that. But, this is an entirely different matter. This is film. This is not the typical type of interview that I would normally do. Although I am interviewing right now, which is, kind of ironic in its own little way. So I wasn't supposed to be doing this. However, congratulations and thank you to Mr. Fields for being such a fine gentleman. Scholar and a gentleman, mind you. That's right. Yeah, he had to take double deuces on the bow so he could, get that in there right there. We are here in an apartment that he provided. What's the guy's name? I want to give Byron Gilstrap. I want thanks to him for a proud recipient of a new kidney. So unfortunately, he's not here at the moment, but he was very gracious to allow us to use his beautiful apartment as a set, upscale apartment as the set for this. This being the first thing that I've ever attempted to produce. Not the first thing I've wrote, the first thing I've ever attempted to produce. So I'm kind of nervous and giddy inside about that. I said giddy. So, and here's the first thing. I'm going to, move up to my left here to Mrs. Alicia Schultz. One of these stars. I know Tony would say the star, but, I try to give equal billing. I tend to go with that, but she's a phenomenal talent. If I can blow your head up just for a moment, I would say she's a phenomenal talent. I have to take the time now to also thank you and Mr. Fields for helping me with this, because it is a long, arduous process. If you have not gone through the trouble of actually shooting a short feature film or otherwise, you would not understand the time and the effort and the repetition and all that stuff that goes on here. How is this process been so far? I mean, this is basically the start, because we got a little slow in the get off, but how's this been thus far?
Just for the day of filming, or the whole process working with you?
Well, let's start with the whole process of working. Well, not just with me, with everybody, but that. Yes, that Tony guy. But the whole process of getting together, the script, getting to understand your character, so on and so forth. How's that been for you so far?
Pretty good. I guess something that was really important was I wanted to be on a team basically where everybody was motivated, and it wasn't just one person dragging everybody along, and that everyone was on the same page as far as making an effort to make the time to rehearse and getting it done versus it, waiting for instruction. Like, everybody was motivated. So that was a big thing for me. So that was really important, really good.
Now, I don't even know what to think about you. How can you do this to people? I mean, screw around with their emotions like that.
Don't give me a break. You want to play moral high ground now? You and your actions have caused people to die, Eric. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? To die. People are dead because of you and the things you did for money.
Oh, give me a break, Eric. Don't play moral high ground with me. You and your actions have caused people to die. Do you understand that? People are dead because of you and what you did for money.
I mean, we met maybe, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, something like that. And since then, we've had a couple rehearsals. We've had numerous phone conversations as far as the development of the project. And I think everybody's been on the ball as far as finding locations and contributing to the project. So it's been a really good experience, better than many other films that I've done. So even though it's your first, it's been wonderful.
Thank you very much for that. That's those are kind words. I really appreciate it. I guess if I had to go into documentary mode and talk about how this all kicked off and began, I have to give some credit to Mr. Owens, who's not on camera right now, because I had the idea to do this for some time, but I wasn't really sure of how I was going to accomplish it until he started pestering me about doing something. So I kind of pulled a story that I had out of the mental vault, and doing this, I was looking for the absolute lowest budget shoot that I could possibly do, but yet somehow be entertaining and engaging, and this was it. This was the only way that I thought I could do it, is to get two strong actors that would be able to sit across from each other and run the lines and somehow make it work. And hopefully I would be able to match them with camera use, I hope, because I'm actually not done as I'm talking. So I hope that I can match what they're doing on screen behind the camera and make it smooth and level out and all that good stuff. So it has been quite a process. And fortunate for me, I had a stroke of luck between the two. Tony, who got on camera just to say that, he walked by as I was finishing out my script, read a few lines off of it, said it looks cool, I'd like to help you out, which was bravo to him that he was willing to do that. Alicia, who I was totally lucky to find, I actually had put the ad on Craigslist prior to finding her, maybe 24 hours before I actually found you on I'm not gonna mention the website's name, but before I actually found you on that site. It wasn't Craigslist. But there were several people that responded on Craigslist. There was somewhere in the nature of 8 to 10 of them, and then you had some stragglers. But none of them really sparked me, and I happened to catch you on this particular site when I think you signed on that day. Is it?
Like, I had signed on. It's an acting site for actors to go to, but I had signed on, I think maybe 3 hours before, and then you had called me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I been missing this whole time? but no, it was good. Yeah, it was just shortly after I had signed on that you had contacted me.
Yeah, that was a complete stroke of luck. I mean, because since that time, the reason why I'm not saying the name of the site is because it really hasn't had that kind of goal for me since then. It was like a lightning in a bottle situation. It happened, and then I have not seen anything magical happen off of there since that point. But well, I'm sorry. And since I'm saying these things about it, I didn't want to attach a name onto it so people start to avoid or anything like that. So, maybe what was not good for me may be good for the next person, and I wish them well. But in any case, as this went on, I found that you had the same type of process that Mr. Fields had. You actually generated a backstory, an idea for the character, which, I'm going to reinforce something that Tony said on screen not too long ago. If you are just sitting down to memorize words off of a script, I mean, memorizing the words is good. Don't get me wrong. It helps a lot, but I think, and I'm pretty sure that both of you would agree, that you need to have something that you identify with the character in order for you to believe what you're saying and understand why this person is saying it. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, sure. You gotta have you have to have history to have feeling behind your words. So
now here's the real thing. Beyond this, because hopefully this will go off and be something smooth for me. I'm not expecting the world out of it. It is a short. I'm doing all of these things so I can have my own personal enjoyment, including this documentary. But assuming the best, or that I have the time and the opportunity, funding, what have you, to go on. I believe he asked the question, did you see a future behind the character that you portray? And your response to him for that is?
Definitely, I think that Cynthia has a lot of growth within her. That she's just awakening. I had mentioned Pandora's box of love that Cynthia hasn't ever felt before. As far as being in a relationship with another man and wanting to give that and receive that, and I think there's development there. And then I also think, as far as with her relationship with her father or her mentor at the agency, it's going to be a struggle. So yeah, I definitely see her growing and becoming a better person and deciding where she wants to be.
And I guess cat's out of the bag for this is that I actually have sat down and begun writing a follow-up chapter to this. So you not having any idea of what I've written in the next go round, is there any particular evolution other than the love? I know personally you like to see her grow and as a person, and I guess embrace her emotional quality a little bit more, or something like that, because at this point in this short, she's really battling with herself. She's having a hard time. She hasn't dealt with that type of love and relationship before. So if I don't want to call it a sequel because it's not really a sequel, but the next go round, if you have the opportunity to do that again, is there something that you would like to see her do? Would you like to get into a fight or
Yes,
something like that?
for you to ask.
Yes.
No, I think if I had my way, I would like to see Cynthia become the badass that I know that she is, and so I'd like for her to be not the new kid that's assigned to an assignment to see if she can do it. I'd like for her to be like the #1 go-to agent, and we know that she can do it, and then there's no battle anymore there. So yeah, I would like to see Cynthia kind of become the badass that I know that she is.
And there lies the tale. Will Cynthia become the badass that you know that she is? So now here, I just asked her, about the future of her character. The real question for you is, does Eric have a future? And because it's kind of like it may be that does he have a future? Is there life for Eric? Be honest.
There could be. It could really just be one of those cases where here's what would be cool. Real honestly, this is what would be cool.
What would be cool?
What would be cool is if there was something after this, and if Cynthia and Eric couldn't find it within themselves to part ways, even after all of this. Like for him to just kind of pop up in her life, like sort of reformed, but sort of not reformed. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not helping people get killed anymore. I'm just helping people steal stuff. Because there's always a way to paint your own moral picture. So I would like to see Eric just kind of pop back up into her life and like really just throw her whole world into a tailspin. Like I'm thinking he's gone and I don't have to deal with him anymore, and then he just.
But only time will tell. As the script unfolds, only time will tell. I know that sounds quite like a soap opera, but as it unfolds, the times will tell. And another cat out of the bag thing, Cynthia must confront her father figure, who of course is, for all intents and purposes.
The whole thing with whoever is at the agency is real edible. I don't know what that's about. I don't even want to get into that.
Well, she has to talk to him. She has to, and here's the. Although Eric may not physically be there, he's a very integral part. He's woven himself into the fabric of her life, and. If you break it down to the nuts and bolts of it, it's a father figure that is very disapproving of who you've fallen in love with. There you have it. If you didn't get it, and I'm not really an artsy guy, but if you didn't get it, the baseline of all of this is that it is a lover's spat with a very high consequence.
Yeah, some ridiculously high consequences. Because, it's not like, well, pack your stuff and get out. It's like, oh, how about a high caliber slug to your right temple? Yeah. It's kind of hard to make up after that,
It is indeed kind of hard. And so yeah, if you're watching this and you didn't understand that break down the guns, take away the espionage and all this and that. It's a lover spat with very high consequence. And she will indeed have to come across her father figure and explain herself. Because here's the real trick, is that if Eric is found out to be, if he's alive, or, it could be, because you don't know. And, all of these are spoiler alerts. I have to put that tag on the beginning of this video. But if he's found alive, the agency will put bullets in him. And quite possibly her. So, hey, you never know. It does up the ante. So, hey, for all those people out there that may or may not have looked at the short, if you're looking at this out of sequence, shame on you. If you saw the short first, bravo. Thank you for your support. And give me money.
Give him money. No, I'm serious.